Hello, I am Eric. Today, I want to talk about why self care is so important. So let's just get right to it. No fucking bullshit, no fucking around. So, the reason why self care is so important is because, and I know you've heard this before. I know you've heard it before. From me to you, I know you've heard it before. Self care is important because if you can't love yourself, you can't love anything else. And that is completely true. It's completely true. I was the type of person that would wake up every day and go about my business. I'd go to school, talk to people, do this and that. And without even realizing it, I always was pissed off. Always. I thought I just had an aggressive resting face, but no. No, I just was always in a bad mood. And the reason being is because I didn't love myself. I had no self esteem, none whatsoever. And at the time, it's not even like I wasn't popular. I wasn't like running the school or anything, but people would definitely talk to me and they would have a good time talking to me and stuff like that. So it's not like I was being bullied or I was outcasted or anything like that. It was literally just ignore my hair, by the way. It's just doing its thing. Um, but they would talk to me and everything was peachy. Everything was peachy, but deep down inside, a piece of me knew that I wasn't happy. I wasn't satisfied. I wasn't content with anything. The only thing going for me was I had a really huge crush on this girl and I loved playing Halo. That's all I had going for me at the time. Like there wasn't any like, oh, I had like a really big talent for sports or my music playing in band was taking off. Like I had nothing. I had literally nothing going on for me. Um, and I was in a single household. So it was just me, my mom, my brothers, and my sister. And it wasn't hard. We got by just fine. Like more than just fine. Honestly, my mother did a fucking amazing job. But nonetheless, I felt how I felt. And it took me many years from that point. I was 14 when that was going on. It started early for me, and I never sought help. I never reached out to anyone. I never did anything like that. I just spent a lot of time learning myself, who I was, and what, not what I was okay with, but more so just what needed to be happening in my life so I was content. And this isn't going to be like how to reach ikigai, which in Japanese is a not a decent life, but a fulfilling life is what ikigai means. And it's going to be nothing like that is what this video is, but it's more so just how to care more for yourself. So, first things first, we're going to talk about why you matter. And I'm not going to be real cheesy like, oh, you matter because blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I'm going to be real with you, okay? You're a piece of shit and you're loathing in your own self wallowing and it's disgusting. Your parents are sick of it. Your friends are sick of it. I'm sick of it. Fucking everyone is sick of how you've been handling yourself. You're sick of it. You want to change. That's why you're watching this, right? Anyways, so first things first, you're watching this right now. So obviously, you care about yourself to a certain extent. You want to make a change. You want to find that you that's deep inside clawing at your edges like, let me out. Let me out. Okay? We both know it's in there. Okay? And the problem for a lot of people of why their self-care isn't handled is because they understand they're miserable. They understand that they want change. They understand it, but they literally lack the motivation. And the biggest problem in that is that they don't see motivation in just what they're lacking. They see the motivation in how people react to them. you find validation in other people rather than the results of yourself. Because, well, for one, the subconscious works to whereas what it understands, it will go to, and what it doesn't understand, it will try to exclude and stay away from. Which is why it's so hard to try new things when you've only been inside of your shell for the longest time. So essentially, I'm not saying like you literally have to flip the script on your life and like, oh, how you been living this whole time? Nope, it's wrong. You're fucking up. Like, no, no, no. Still do your thing. If you know that there's things that you love doing that just fuel you, and they're not toxic things, like drug related things or toxic relationships or things like that, like, then by all means continue to do those things. You just like to do a little gaming, you like to lazy around a little bit out in the sunlight, hammock a little, stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing PCP in the McDonald's parking lot because that's how you get your adrenaline rush, and you've been doing that for like the past like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, yeah, you're probably fucking up. But it's really just, you have to understand that this is your template, this is your canvas, and everything that you do to yourself, you're going to see back. I was never this majestic, beautiful being with all this perfect curvature and confidence and all that type of stuff. Okay, I was not very outgoing. I was a lot rounder. I wasn't this fine. And I always had a deep voice. Always had the deep voice. So I was very lucky with that. But everything else just kind of came later on. And that's the type of thing, like, you're gonna be insecure about things coming on because people are going to have things that you don't. They're going to have money, they're going to have the girlfriends, the friends, the confidence, the looks, the heat, the drip, the clout. They're gonna have all those things, and you're not gonna have it, and you're gonna feel like there's something wrong with you, and the problem, it's just gonna domino from there. And right now, like, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what state you're in, what people say to you, you matter. Okay, you matter. And just because I don't know you and I'm saying this through a screen, it does not invalidate what I'm saying. It does not. It really doesn't. Because I'll tell you this, try to live with the perspective of everything happens for a reason, and things that are supposed to happen will happen much more than things that are bullshit. Like, just random, like, waste of your time bullshit. Just a little tip from me to you. Because it's all about mind over matter. Okay? What you believe is more likely to happen if you genuinely believe that's how it should be. I mean, if you believe that gravity doesn't exist and the earth is flat, nothing's going to change that. But I'm pretty sure you understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, good. So, I mean, it literally just starts with understanding the problem, the things that make you feel, I almost said unconscious, the things that make you feel self-conscious about yourself, the things that make you hate yourself, stuff like that, and just leaning more towards changing it. Now, if you're one of the very unfortunate people that hate themselves because of their personality, who they are, I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't you fucking dare start copying someone you think is cool. Because that is the lamest fucking thing you can do. That is so lame. Thinking like, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna just copy this guy, or this person, they're so cool, blah blah blah. And it's just like, dude, you have no swag. Like, that shit doesn't make you cool. It doesn't make you more of you. Right? So I mean, it's just it's easier said than done, obviously, but it's simple. Like, I'm self-conscious about how I look physically, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna diet better and start working out. And here's the biggest thing when it comes to improving yourself: people are always going to be eager to change, and you always want to change in the blink of an eye, but that is unrealistic. You take baby steps. For some people, in certain things like this, oh, I hate how I need this and it disgusts me, like, I'm just gonna throw it, and then they never touch it again in their life. And some people can do that, but for a lot of other things like dieting or stopping a bad habit, like me personally, I'm trying to stop biting my fingernails, and not just my fingernails but the skin on my fingers. And one thing that I'm doing to do that is painting my nails. you know that's just an example. Like, obviously I don't want to, like, every time I go to bite my finger, like, I don't want to have to remember to tell myself to not do it. So let's do something where it's like it's something new, something I can try, stuff like that. Like, you just want to find different ways to tackle problems that just come up in your life. But I think that's about it. It really just boils down to finding the things you love about yourself, and then finding things that you don't like about yourself. Because the things you love about yourself, you want to keep those things relevant. You want to keep those things in your life, because being happy is much better than being sad. So we have the option whether or not we want to be happy or sad. Like, I woke up today and I could be like, oh, well, uh, fucking my cat's old and she's gonna die soon. And that makes me sad because I won't be able to have my cat anymore. And I could just cry all day about it. Or I could be like, oh, well, my cat's getting pretty old. And although that sucks, I very much so cherish the time that we've already had together. And I'm going to continue to cherish it as she is still here. That's a completely different perspective. And you can tell that those are two completely different outcomes that are just going to completely change. That those are two completely separate days. The same things might be happening in those days, but they're not happening the same way. And I know you can already picture how that would be. But that's just a light example. So it's simply just like, you understand what you need more than anyone else. If you think like, oh my god, I'm so depressed, like, what do I need? And your brain instantly thinks, stop eating junk food, stop talking to shit boys, stop doing this and that. And then it's just like, oh, but I really love those things, so obviously it has to be something else. And then you're just going over the hump looking for, like, whatever else it could be. And it's like, bitch, the hump is the problem. Like, why don't you start right there? Like, start right there. Because, I mean, honestly, with the internet and how we've seen people interacting for all these years, we are too far along to still let any inkling of toxicity exist in our lives. Like, we're too grown for that. Like, we're too developed for that shit. It doesn't make sense to, like, let that toxicity still reign supreme in our lives. So this is just a little video I wanted to make, talking about why loving yourself is gonna get you everywhere. I mean, if you love yourself, you can put all of your energy into loving other people so much more. You can appreciate things so much more. It's so much easier to just do things, because instead of worrying about how it's going to impact you, it's just, I'm going to do this thing, I'm still going to be happy after I do this thing, and this thing is going to be out the way. And That's things we want. We all want to be more efficient. We all want to be more attractive. We all want to be funnier. We all want to be richer. We all want to do this and that. Except for, people that obviously don't care about that. Amish and real minimalists. Sorry, fake minimalists. Just because you like to only use 2 outlets instead of 3, that doesn't really make you a minimalist. But anyways, I digress. So, yeah, I mean, the summary for this is just try to love yourself more. Try to be more understanding towards the things that are making you hate yourself and feel like shit in your life. So, I mean, for some people, it's just going to be like, oh, I wish I would stop stuttering as much, or I wish I could be more outgoing towards people. And then it's just going to be complete, like, flip to the script. Like, I need to stop eating as much. I need to stop spitting on people when I talk accidentally. I need to work out every morning, and I need to have a kale shake every morning, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So, if you just have 1 or 2 things that you want to change about yourself, by all means, dive right in, get that shit out the way. But if you were someone like me who just had no idea what the fuck was wrong with them, and they just needed to, like, realize the shit that's wrong and then fix it, like, just take it problem by problem, step by step. There's no need to just, like, fill your plate with shit and then try to fucking, I almost said Bangkok. What is that shit called? Mukbang that shit down. Fucking, yeah, whatever. You get the point. I've been talking about this shit for too long. Anyways, go do that shit.